HighBridge, a division of recorded books, presents The Song Poet, a Memoir of My Father, by Kao Kalia Yang, read by the author. Gutia is, in the words of Ralph Ellison on American Blues, an impulse to keep the painful details and episodes of a brutal experience alive in one's aching consciousness, to finger its jagged grain, and to transcend it, not by the consolation of philosophy, but by squeezing from it a near-tragic, near-cosmic lyricism. As a form, the blues is an autobiographical chronicle of personal catastrophe expressed lyrically. Gutia's songs can be duets, the voices of fathers and daughters coming together, different verses within the same song, stanzas in the same poem. Album notes. My father would never describe himself as a poet. In Laos he was a fatherless boy. In Thailand he was a refugee waiting in the dust. In America he is a machinist. Through it all he has been a poor person yearning for a father and living to be one. My father is Jumua's husband and the father of 7 children, 5 girls and 2 boys. My father says on his gravestone he wants it known that his wife and his children are his life's work. He would love it if we could add, all of Mbiya's children became good people. I am the only person I know who describes my father's work as poetry. I'm not referring to the pieces of hard metal he polishes, the rough edges he makes smooth, the coarseness he evens into shine. I am talking about the songs he composes, day and night in Hmong, our language, his gutia. My father is not a writer. He does not write down his compositions. He is a singer. He sings them. It has taken me a long time to gain the courage to call my father's work poetry. For much of my life I've described my father to the world as a machinist, not as the poet I know him to be. I didn't have a way of conveying how being my father's daughter has taught me not how machines work, but how the human heart operates. I grew up hearing my father digging into words for images that would stretch the limits of life for my siblings and me. In my father's mouth, bitter, rigid words become sweet and elastic like taffy. His poetry shields us from the poverty of our lives. On the colorful woven plastic mats in the middle of our living room floor, we sit around my father. We look at the walls with him. The mold growing wild becomes the backdrop of the beautiful paintings we see on television. The peak of this mountain, the descent of that river, the sliver of tree that clings to life on the edges of the rocks, open and exposed. We point at the things we did not see before our father's words gave them shape, alternatives, possibilities. My brother Zhu sees a crane at the river's edge. Shilu points to the sky with its cloud families, gray and rumbling, and whispers of bad weather approaching. For a moment, we are living in a priceless, ageless piece of art. In the deep of winter, after months of unceasing cold, my father points outside our front window at the ice-covered mounds of snow shining in the bright sun, under a cloudless sky of blue, and says, "Look at the garden of winter. The snow flowers are blooming today." My siblings and I leave our places by the big heater with its opening single blue flame, and we look out into a picture of winter we thought we had grown sick of. We blink against the shine. Beneath our lashes, in the sliver of open eyes, stars twinkle in the colors of the winter rainbow. The children marvel while my older sister Dao and I take deep breaths and breathe foggy air onto the glass pane. We draw the flowers of early spring on the cold, wet glass with our fingers, buds of tulips and daffodils, the bursts of dandelions and the fragrant lilac blooms, the sweet, clean scent of magnolia blossoms and the images of the flowering trees, stalked with soft, white, pink, pinkish red, and purplish white petals, remind us that warm weather and abundant flowers are coming our way. The world of winter becomes bearable in the promise of spring. In perfect pentatonic pitch, my father sings his songs, grows them into long stretching stanzas of 4 or 5, structures them in couplets, repeats patterns of words, and changes the last word of each verse so that it rhymes at the end of the next. He is a master at parallelism. The language is protracted and the notes are drawn deep and long. The only way I know how to describe it as a form in English is to say, my father raps, jazzes, and sings the blues when he dwells in the landscape of traditional Hmong song poetry. Different shapes come forth from the dirty places, different possibilities.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?